What can Gen X women learn from Gen Z? There's a lot. There's a lot. I'm going to talk about that today. For those of you who are new here, my name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X Big Sister. I've been talking about all things pretirement, which is like the 10, 15 years prior to apparently, supposedly being able to retire. And we're really exploring a lot of these important topics together. And something that occurred to me, because there's been a lot of comments around ageism, and because I've been sort of directing my videos specifically to Gen X, there's been comments about generations and stuff like that. And I realize that a lot of what I've been talking about on this channel are things that Gen Z women and Gen Z in general, I tend to focus on women for this channel, but there are things that Gen Z has already learned that we could learn a thing or two about. And I'm going to talk about those today. First, self care and setting boundaries. Gen X, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we were really taught to set boundaries or shown how to do it, or it wasn't really modeled for us. It it was just we were just expected to do what we were told and do what people expected, and we didn't necessarily protect our own well-being. We didn't necessarily communicate boundaries that would enable us to protect our well-being. And it's absolutely something that Gen Z does. Now, what I find interesting is that Gen Xers and millennials are the ones that have parented these kids. So somehow our generations have taught this to them. And maybe it's because we know, either consciously know or we just know on some level that we don't do that and we're not good at that. So setting up boundaries and protecting our well-being and taking care of ourselves. Mental health days. Can you imagine when we were in our 20s or 30s or even 40s? Like, could you imagine taking a mental health day off from work? And now it's like kind of the norm. I'm not here to talk about the ways in which we may have gone too far, and we may have some younger generation that are really struggling on a serious level, and we need to help them with that. But the lesson in there to even protect ourselves and protect our mental health and to set up those boundaries, I think is really key, really key. So that's number one. Number two is embracing technology and staying technologically nimble and staying on top of the newest developments. And now, mind you, I understand that Gen Z has been born with technology, and we as Gen X, we were not. But I do think in order for us to have a really full pretirement and a healthy retirement, if we get there, that it's going to be important for us to stay on top of technology. And that means practicing, that means using new tools. If that means asking your kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews for help and guidance, then do that. This platform, YouTube, has so much to offer. If there's any part of technology that you want to learn how to do, or you want to learn how to master, you can search for it here on YouTube, and somebody has made a how-to video about it. It's pretty glorious. But I think also, just for us to be able to stay independent as long as we possibly can, stay self-sufficient as long as we possibly can, that keeping that technological nimbleness and flexing our muscle for learning new things that have to do with technology is going to be huge. So that's number two. Number 3, self-expression and authenticity. So Gen Z is that they're starting young in terms of expressing who they are, sharing their identity, and not being as worried about fitting into the traditional box. I mean, we still have a long way to go, but they're definitely pushing the boundaries on that and talking about it more and accepting each other more. So just being their true authentic selves and expressing that. I think we as Gen Xers are starting to do that. There's more and more of us online sharing our true thoughts and feelings, shedding old identities to try to get to our true, genuine, authentic self. It's absolutely been a journey and a process and an experience. And I think we're getting a little better about sharing it with each other, but we have a ways to go there as well. And Gen Z's doing it, sometimes to a fault, sometimes with the oversharing. Well, oversharing from my Gen X lens and perspective, which obviously isn't the be all end all. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a a mission centered, a mission driven profession or career. And not necessarily career. Like Gen Z no longer, they don't expect to decide what they're going to do to earn money for the rest of their damn lives. They don't make that decision at a young age. They know that they're just looking a little bit ahead, looking at what are they going to do now, and it appears that mission and purpose and passion and fulfillment outrank title and money, which is very different to how we came up as Gen X. And it's kind of funny that now that we're entering these pre-retirement years, we're kind of falling into that. We're kind of getting that. Like we're looking for something that's a little more mission focused, purpose driven, something that brings us joy, something that doesn't burn us out. Uh, you know, it's all it's all really interesting that's kind of where we're at with it. So I think it's worthwhile to take time to figure that piece out. And Gen Z, they take a gap year to do it. Like when they finish school and they're still not 100% sure what their next move is going to be. They know you only live once, and they take a break and they figure it out. So kudos for them for that. Number 5 is, what was number 5? Number 5, oh, challenging the norms. Gen X and older generations, and I think it's a tendency of just as we get older, sometimes we do things a certain way because we've always done it that certain way. This is the way we do it because this is how we do things. This is the norm. This is the expectation. These are the quote rules. Gen Z is not shy about challenging those norms. They don't necessarily care of that. This is how we've always done it, especially if they can see from their perspective that, okay, how we've always done it is not working. Like there's too many consequences and too much fallout, and it's worth looking at something new and another way to do it. So I think if you find yourself, even as you're thinking about how we enter this phase of our lives and how we enter retirement, you have certain assumptions and certain expectations that come to mind. Stop and ask yourself, am I doing that because that's just how it's done, how it's quote done, that's how it's always been done? Does it need to be done that way? Is there something else? Is there another way we can approach this? Is there another way we can do it? I think that will keep us flexible. I think it'll keep us young, youthful in spirit and in our soul. So not being afraid to challenge those norms. So those are just a few of the ways, of the things that we can learn, that Gen X women can learn from Gen Z women. I'm liking these lessons. There's plenty more, and of course, I know there's a lot that Gen Z can learn from Gen X, but that's not the purpose of this conversation. So Tell me in the comments your thoughts on this. Any others that come to mind that you think that we could embrace and that would be helpful to us in this retirement phase? Again, my name is Amy Palmer. Please remember to follow and subscribe. Some of these lessons we will be talking about in the workshop on Saturday. For those of you who don't know, I am offering a live event. It's called Permission to Pause: How to Design Your Pretirement. And we're really going to dig into it. We're going to make you a priority. We're going to give you the space. We're going to give you some quiet. We're going to put together a plan. We're going to figure out what we're looking for through this next season and next era of life. If this speaks to you in any way, you can check out the details. It's permission to pause, permission, the number two, pause dot today. They'll give you the details for the day. And this is Amy, your Gen X Big Sister, signing out.